Hi, this is me, Rabab Zehra from TechX Media. I have with me Apeksha Kaushik. She is Principal Research Analyst at Gartner. She is with us today for an interview. So let's say hi to Apeksha. Hi, Apeksha. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. So before we start the conversation, I will give a little background. Obviously, Apeksha is from Gartner, and she is a principal research analyst. And recently, Gartner has released a report. Gartner has forecasted that by 2022, government IT spending in Middle East and North Africa region is expected to grow 1.1%. So, to know more about government IT spending trends in Middle East and North Africa region, we have Apeksha today. We will ask her a few questions to elaborate more on the report. So, I will start with my first question, Apeksha. I would like to know that what benefits could citizens in the MENA region expect from increased IT spending by government in 2022?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Ribab. Firstly, I would say the digital experience of citizens, like as consumers, it has increased their expectations from their government. And therefore, the pandemic added to it. And now more and more citizens want to engage with the governments digitally. And we at Gartner have predicted like by 2023, over 60% of governments will have tripled their citizen digital services, but only less than 25% will be integrated across the organizational silos. To share some more light on this, I would say the citizens are able to request services or report a situation depending on their own convenience, their own timeline, and that too digitally. But there are certain demographics or maybe certain groups of citizens who would definitely prefer a traditional model and would want human help. So, in such a scenario, it becomes slightly tedious for governments who are working towards providing citizens the services both digitally and in analog way. And in this complex situation, as the governments are moving to be more proactive instead of the reactive or responsive to the citizen demand, when the spending will increase, the governments will be able to provide a more personalized and predictive experience, at the same time also ensuring to maintain the trust with the information. That's a no brainer.
Yes.
So I would definitely say that the increase in investments in all different channels like voice of citizens or maybe setting up engagement hubs,
Hmm.
and even like the simple examples which have already been implemented like online payment solutions for utilities, or even as a matter of fact car parkings or toll gate credits. So things are moving forward to increase and enhance citizen experiences and give them more personalized and predictive and proactive way to engage with the government.
That's correct. So, Apeksha, in this scenario, we have like two situations with this rapid digitization. There are some people there are citizens who are ready to adopt digital transformation, and some who are not. So, what can be done to prepare people?
Yeah, I would say like, see, in all these different scenarios, government doesn't have the leeway to choose their audiences, right? They have to address the whole spectrum of citizens, and therefore when they release any digital services, there are untouched segments who are there, but ensuring that they are not left behind is the key. So, therefore, based on the demographic data and smart intelligence which is being used across different agencies, they can work on improving their digital inclusion. So, we understand that there is like widening generation gap which is there, which is also like pushing digital adoption in a way. And then to deal with that, I would say, I'm just giving one example. To deal with that, maybe reskilling or reverse mentoring to include that uh, elder generation, maybe that can be done. So, taking measures like this, and even if we talk about digital gender divide, there can be reforms on that to make sure that all the digital skills are provided, maybe in terms of employees, maybe in terms of citizens, but overall ensuring that all different groups and different demographics are included as we move forward with digital.
That's great. So moving forward, as the region's technology market grows, which sectors do you anticipate flourishing the most?
Uh, I would say, see, there have been instances across the pandemic, the last year or so, where healthcare was a prominent one, right? But
Yes.
there have been other areas and different initiatives, especially in the region, like smart city initiatives across Dubai or Saudi Arabia or Egypt, where different kind of citizens are in being involved and taken care of, and public sector leaders are becoming more responsible, especially for developing and implementing digital services. But that also depends on the size, maturity, and the capability of that particular organization. If we talk about healthcare, it is one. If we talk about tourism, it is another. And then education and transport are also there, which have been like expedited, I would say, during the pandemic. And adding to it, because of the rapid changes while moving to the digital, I would say public safety has also become an important subsector for the government to take care of. And like there are different opportunities to learn around best technology practices, or maybe the different deployment models which can be taken care of. So that is going on. I would say government has focused specifically towards accelerating their digital diversification to include all citizens, the workforce, and also the businesses. So all these initiatives around smart cities, healthcare, tourism, education, they are also revolving around public-private partnerships. So maybe developing incubation platforms or adopting different pilot projects for human augmentation or blockchain. And IoT is a major like
Right.
technology which is
Yes.
seeing an uptake.
Yes.
So all of this is there, and therefore the whole idea, I would say, the governments are moving in the direction of total experience, incorporating all different stratas of the society, the workforce, and citizens together.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So you talked about a workforce. When the
Yeah.
IT spending will grow, what kind of
Yeah.
IT professionals will be in demand?
Yeah, I would say there is already the talent scenario in the market, which is having a crunch for the talent. Like most of the organizations are facing rapid turnovers or rapid attritions in terms of their workforce. So with this kind of talent management scenario, the employee turnover will keep on varying. And specifically, when we are talking about technological advancements and advancements which would like increase automation and then eliminating tasks also. So, the utmost requirement, I would say, would be of digital dexterity. And that would lead to adoption of behaviors which would promote the ability for that particular workforce employee to apply their existing and their new skill set to deliver better business outcomes. So basically overall impact what they are making. So it's not restricted to one particular domain, because we see there are advances in all different technologies, may it be blockchain, may it be AI, but definitely the new civil service entrants, they would definitely lack the experiences from the past, but they would bring some fresh perspective and momentum while we move towards delivering digital citizen experience. So this would be the key to have that kind of knowledge base and right mix of workforce, including both the seniors and the new fresh entrants.
Yes, right. That's correct. Apeksha, now let's talk about cybersecurity. We know everyone knows the rise in cyber attacks in the past 18 months. Given the increasing number of cyber attacks, how much budget should be dedicated to cybersecurity to combat cyber attacks?
Um, I would say, see, budgeting, it depends solely on the nature of the organization. Where do they stand in their journey of digital transitioning? What is their level of maturity in terms of the initiatives they have? And there are multiple other factors which are related to this. So budgeting is a different aspect, but definitely the threats are increasing, and for that, there the government leaders need to have like an adaptive approach to cybersecurity. We at Gartner like have also predicted that by 2025, 75% of the government CIOs will be directly responsible for security outside of IT, and that would be including operational and mission critical technology environments. So in government organizations, though the cybersecurity thing has been historically in terms of just compliance with the volume of written artifacts, like they used to periodically review and update those, but now this has been changing quickly. With risk management frameworks in place, there requires a continuous monitoring, and with that also ongoing authorization. So with the increasing threats and the risk complexity increasing, governments are shifting more from the compliance based to the risk based security and risk based management approach. And I would say, like, designing these kind of security approach with an adaptive mindset by adopting continuous monitoring approaches and having some trust assessment models, that would be crucial.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Apeksha, for sharing this valuable information with us. Wrapping up the interview, anything else you would like to say, which you wanted me to ask, but I didn't ask?
It's not about that, but I would just say towards the end that the governments are working towards future ready capabilities, right? Along with handling the immediate priorities, with the disruption being present, there has to be a long term aspiration also. And we know the world is volatile. So, having the future ready capabilities, example, the agility or the resilience mindset, it becomes important to develop the digitally enabled citizens, the composable business driven technology foundation, and also an evolving and adapting government workforce. So these three things, if have to be in place, we should be ready with our future scenarios.
That's true. Thank you so much for being here with us, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much, Rabab.
Thank you so much for watching. We had Apeksha Kaushik with us. She is an incredible woman in technology, and we hope to have her again with TechX in future. Stay tuned to TechX to know more about what is happening inside the technology industry. Goodbye.